My name is Fenton Ruparanganda, and I'm doing a PhD with TAO. My topic is factors influencing students to drop science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subjects, which are known as STEM subjects in secondary schools in Zimbabwe. And that is my topic. Okay, the summary is as follows. The study was carried out to determine the factors influencing students to drop the science, technology, and engineering and mathematics subjects, the STEM subjects in secondary schools in Zimbabwe. The study used a descriptive survey design using questionnaires and checklists to collect information from a population of about 108 respondents that included the school heads, the heads of department, that is the science departments, the science teachers, and 80 secondary school students, and those also included the parents. Okay, then from there, the main factors that were found to be influencing the students to drop out the science subjects are as follows. One, lack of funds, that is to procure the equipment that is required, especially laboratory equipment and so on, because these STEM subjects include biology, chemistry, physics, and mathematics, and they require laboratory instruments, they require infrastructure. And one of the factors that I did get was that we don't have the infrastructure. Then poor remuneration of teachers. Science teachers, they are valued teachers, and in most cases these go to lucrative schools, and within the rural areas in Zimbabwe the teachers are paid by the government and the salaries are relatively low. Then from there, another factor that is there, we've got the cultural and religious factors. If you look at the STEM subjects, the science subjects, biology, physics, mathematics, and chemistry, these subjects, according to our own culture, most of the jobs are perceived at the moment to be male jobs, and if females go into these areas, they are perceived to be out of the norm. So normally those who want to have a normal, in quotation, so-called life will actually not take up these science subjects. They would rather do something that is traditional for women. And these are the major factors that were influencing the dropout of students from the STEM subjects. Research problem. In Zimbabwe at the moment, there is a trust in order to bring about the science and technology or the STEM subjects, and government has been paying for students to take up these subjects, especially at A level. But even though we still have a low intake of students, and this is what prompted me to say, even though the fees is being paid for them, why are they not taking physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics at all level? So if you look, science subjects is an essential component for the key scientific and for scientific and technological development. But despite the efforts taken by the government of Zimbabwe to improve science education, there is a trend to drop science, the STEM subjects at both O level and A level by students. And mainly later, you will see that it is mainly the girl child who is mainly affected. The method, this study used a descriptive survey, and this descriptive survey, I saw that it was the best method that I could use in this particular study to collect the data. The study determined the factors that caused the dropout from STEM subjects of students, and hence it required a descriptive survey research design. And this is the research design that I saw that it was the most appropriate to collect this information. And also the descriptive statistics was used to analyze quantitative data by calculating the frequencies, the percentages, and these frequencies of items were then scored using the Likert scale and later converted into percentages for discussion. Okay. Then from there, the results of my research. With the results of my research, there are so many factors, as I did say, that are mainly influencing the students to drop out from the STEM subjects, despite the effort that is being done by the government. And economic factors, social factors, lack of resources, lack of trained teachers, and poor infrastructure were the major factors that were influencing or that are influencing students to drop out from the STEM subjects. And these STEM subjects, they require specialized rooms. And these specialized rooms, which are the laboratory, in most rural areas in Zimbabwe, most secondary schools and those also the high schools, they don't have these laboratories. And hence, it will be very difficult for them to take it up. Because in order for you to put up a laboratory, it requires a lot of money. And by percentage, if you try and look at the STEMs, the issue of laboratories, it had a 10% inadequate infrastructure. And also, I did analyze that in terms of the qualifications that are required for the teachers, these are very scarce in terms of A-level teachers and even O-level biology, physics, chemistry teachers. Hence, availability, again, of teachers is another major factor that is affecting students for not taking up these subjects, because despite the fact that they may want to do the subjects, they don't have a qualified biology, physics, chemistry, and mathematics teacher, both at O-level and A-level. And it's actually a problem in Zimbabwe, and I hope across Africa as a whole. Therefore, if you try and look, also there are also students who have got negative attitudes towards these subjects as well, due to social and cultural influences. And if you look, for example, with the social factors, these mainly affected the girl child. The cultural and social aspects also led to the dropouts, especially of the girl child. Why? Because in most cases, if you look at the jobs that they are going to do, they are perceived as male jobs. And these so-called male jobs that will affect the social life of that girl child in the long run. And they say, for example, I won't get married. It's a threat. Or these jobs, you are going to have a lot of money and there is no male that is actually going to marry you because you should be submissive to the female. And that's another to the male. And that's another factor that is affecting the students to drop out, and especially, as I am saying, the girl child. Then economic factors, as I have said, they are at an institutional level and also at a personal level. That is paying of the fees, and as I have said, the infrastructure that is required in order, and even in order to put up laboratories, and even during the course of teaching and learning, there is a major problem in terms economic problem, because you need to constantly purchase whether there are equipment or chemicals that will be required in order to have these STEM subjects. So by percentage, STEM teacher not available was 50%. In most schools, there were no teachers that were available to teach these subjects. And students' negative attitude constituted 5%, social aspect 5%, inadequate infrastructure, it constituted 5%, and then economic factors 30%. Then if we look at the school-related factors, were as follows. Lack of laboratory was 70%, lack of material, that is books and so on, was 10%, and lack of infrastructure was 24%, then lack of trained teachers was 24%. And those were my results. Then my conclusion: the major factors influencing dropouts from STEM subjects in schools include economic and government-related issues, inadequate infrastructure, and also the fact that teachers are not well trained and equipped to teach actually the STEM subjects. And we also have a poor economic environment, especially right now, and it is very difficult for schools that are in rural areas to be able to provide the materials and the infrastructure that is required. And without adequate support from government, parents, religious leaders, traditional
Thank you,
leaders,
Fenton. That was fantastic presentation.